But anyway, let me start about the ginkgos. And I'll tell you, these ginkgo trees were put in when we first moved here in 1996, 97, 98. We put in 1,200 or something like 1,500 ginkgo trees. And the ginkgos were put in when they were about 7 years old. Now they're, so what was that, 10? They're about 15 to 20 years old now. Starting to go away. And they have been pruned radically, and we prune them radically. If you're by a ginkgo, you all are, look at the tree, and you'll see that the tree has many terminals, most of them. The ones that are damaged from the frost are, you know, they may only, like this one only has one terminal. But the reason why we cultivate them this way is to produce more leaf production. And so the ginkgos are very, very resilient. These trees have gone through a lot of frost damage. Over the last 4 years, we've had some severe frost, as you know, in the late spring, and some warm falls, and followed by hard freezes, and the tender leaf had been damaged. So I had to prune these trees back radically in order to encourage them to recover. This is a recovery year. With all the rain, they're doing really, really well recovering. They've already grown about a foot to 2 feet, and every year they can grow as much as 3 feet each year. And they do really, really well here. And by pruning them, we've encouraged the tree to produce more leaf, obviously. So these trees are harvested in early to mid-September, when the border of the leaf turns sort of yellow. You've probably seen that. Not when it's fully yellow, but just the edge turning yellow. And at that point, the flavonoids in the ginkgo leaf they're pretty much evolved to a point where the leaf has reached a peak of medicinal value. And so that's when we harvest. And the way we harvest is we essentially take the branches like this and we strip the leaf off the branches. And we use harvesting aprons and just put them in by hand. And then we take it to the dryers, dry them down, and then process it into ginkgo leaf extract. This is done in a very sensitive way. Most of the ginkgo leaf extract that's used and sold around the world, bought in health food stores, is essentially made in a very, very different process. Actually, believe it or not, most of the ginkgo leaf that's used to make global production of ginkgo is grown in South Carolina, about 4 hours from here. And they have a 1,200-acre farm there in South Carolina, and they grow the ginkgo trees in rows that are spaced 12 inches apart, and the trees are spaced within the row 15 inches apart. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And they grow them like shrubs, and they actually harvest them with cotton picking machines. And they harvest the branches and the stems and twigs and so forth. And then what they do is they take all of that plant material and they grind it up, bring it to these flash dryers, dry it at 1,300 degrees, bale it up, and ship it over to France, where it's extracted with solvents like hexane and acetone, these highly non-ingestible solvents. And then they make this highly purified phytopharmaceutical of ginkgo. And that's really the medicine that's all the research on ginkgo has been done with. But obviously it's very environmentally invasive, and it's made with toxic solvents. And we've tried to embrace the truth that you don't have to make ginkgo that way. You can grow ginkgo harmoniously, environmentally friendly, and extract it only using pure grain certified organic alcohol. And we do it very well and achieve the same medicine concentration as they do in France. So it's a very important herb in our Materia Medica, because does anybody know what ginkgo is used for?
I would have
expected to hear that.
But he was going to have to say it.
Good, I'm getting my vision back. All right, anyone else? Okay, so it's used for a lot of things. Yes, you're right, memory, it is used for memory. It's used actually to enhance cerebral circulation. That means blood flow to the brain, and peripheral circulation, blood flow to the extremities. What's interesting about ginkgo, if you take a leaf and look at the leaf, you'll see that the leaf has two lobes to it. It's bilobed here, and that's symbolizing the brain structure being bilobed. You also see these striated lines in the ginkgo leaf, very tight striated lines, which indicates to me a signature for vascular circulation. So right from looking at the signature of the leaf, we have an indication of what it's used for. So being good for peripheral and cerebral circulation, it means that we can use it for premature memory loss or dementia or Alzheimer's. We can also use it for things like tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. We can use it for Raynaud's syndrome, which is a peripheral circulatory disorder. We can use it for something known as intermittent claudication of the legs. Some of you may know what that is. Essentially, that's a cramping up of the legs. Most of the time it happens at night. But that's a vascular condition, so ginkgo is very, very good for that. It's good for, because it has an effect on inhibiting platelet activating factors, it's good for asthma and allergies. And for men, it can be good for improving the blood flow to the penis for erectile dysfunction. It has a number of other uses, and it's typically not necessarily just used alone. It can be combined with other plants to make a nice synergy. It's often combined with hawthorn for cerebral cardiovascular wellness. So it's a very good remedy, and people who have risk factors for strokes may be a good candidate for taking ginkgo. Very, very good medicine. Any questions?
Are there side effects from taking it?
Can you chew the leaves?
You can chew the leaves, and
And get anything out of it?
not really.
Strengthen the teeth.
Somebody in the wagon asked if there were side effects.
Other side effects, there could be some side effects. Not significant. You obviously want to watch if you're taking warfarin type drugs, which are blood thinning agents. You want to be sure that you talk to your doctor if you have an interest in using ginkgo. It could cause a little bit of stomach irritation or some headache, but that's only in extreme doses. But basically the herb is very safe. If you are using other medications, it's always wise to have some sort of support from your doctor in terms of, does it combine well with other medications? All right, Jackie's giving me the time. So let's, if the tractors just want to stay there, I'm just going to walk across. We'll walk across and we'll talk about the hawthorn trees now.